Hi all, here with a quick reading. I wanted to come on and pull some cards for the collective as we're closing out 2022. Just sort of taking a look at some of the themes that are present right now that some of you may be experiencing, and to see if we can hone in on what type of advice would be coming from source, from our spirit guides, from the universe to help us throughout this time. And so I've asked to be a pure channel for this information to flow through, that it be for our highest and best good, that whatever information comes through, advice, be from a heartfelt space and unbiased, non-judgmental, all of that. So what we're tuning in first is the collective heart space, which is showing up as the King of Cups. So with the King of Cups energy in our, sorry, I said heart space, but this is actually our mind space. But it is one and the same because this is such an emotional card to have in the mind space. It's almost like the awareness of the need for emotional stability. That's what's on the collective mind. It's almost like it could be the energies around feel a bit chaotic, a bit triggering, and so we're aware of the need to ground, center ourselves, and find that emotional balance. When I look at this card, I'm always drawn to the singing bowls and the water, almost as a reminder of how do we find the tools and the techniques and the modalities and the practices, the routines that really help us to balance ourselves, recenter, hone in on whatever it is that we need to hone in on. Because this card is really about having love to give, being emotionally balanced, yet I feel that it's this inner work, it's this inner call. It's not through external validation, it's not through external comforts, it's through this like internal guidance, right? So being able to quiet the outside world, being able to tune into yourself and remember what it is that's brought you peace in the past, in a healthy way, what it is that has really calmed the storm, and how that can be brought back into your reality in this moment in time, right? And so this is like king energy, so we are being asked to step into another level of mastery of our emotional balance. So that's what I feel is on the collective mind space as we're wrapping up December. Once we get to the heart space, we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is the only knight that makes it to the end of their road, right? So the Knight of Pentacles is slow and steady. It's also about planting seeds and trusting that they're going to grow in the way that they're meant to grow. So the Knight of Pentacles energy in the heart space is like, it's not quite the wounded warrior. It's a little different than that. It's like we have a hope, we have a faith that we're going to be able to accomplish what it is that we truly want, what's truly on our hearts, what our hearts desire. Yet we're also willing to put in the work, and we're aware that it can take time. So for this, what's coming through is just trusting in divine timing always, and just know that whatever steps have been taken along the way, there's never a wrong path, right? So you may be seeing a lot of relationships sort of closing out, shifting, new beginnings coming on in. And there may be a sense even in the heart space of like, did I mess up? Is this okay? That sort of thing. There are no wrong paths. So everything is a learning tool. Every step has mattered on that journey. It's still gotten you towards where you're meant to be. Because in this life, I feel that we're meant to have experiences. We're meant to experience it all. So learning to take those experiences, grow from them, and trust in the divine timing of our lives unfolding is exactly what I feel is going on in this heart space. I'm really drawn to like him being barefoot and completely relaxed. It looks like he's just sort of chilling and moving forward but not rushing, and that's a great type of energy to be in. It's like there's awareness, we're looking for the path ahead, have a plan in place, yet almost relaxed because we know it's unfolding. We know what's coming in is meant to come in, what's leaving is meant to leave. In the collective action, we have the Six of Cups. And I love how they portray the Six of Cups in this particular card, because it's a sweet, pure love. It is nostalgia. And it's so interesting because I wasn't expecting these cards to be so heavily focused in the heart chakra and love. Yet at the core of us as beings, we all seek somewhere along the line to experience that type of pure unconditional love, because that's our closest connection to source. That's what source love, God love feels like, is pure and unconditional. And so we're seeking that often in this realm. And so what the action space here is like, we may be getting memories of the past coming in, all the way back to childhood even. And they can be sweet, and they can also be like bittersweet, in that sense of almost like an awareness of like an innocence lost type of feeling. That's what I'm getting with this card. Yet also with the Six of Cups, we are being asked to do some serious inner child work. I feel like what's happening is there's so much instability, as we talked about, and this lack of knowing exactly how things are going to go, that the inner child needs some reassurance, also needs to be addressed, or maybe asking to be listened to in this moment in time. And so one of the best practices for inner child work is to do a personal meditation, just sort of tune in. You can take a picture of yourself from like first grade or kindergarten, and that might really help to tune in to your own inner child. Take a good look at that and allow yourself to go into a space of meditation and ask that child, that self, what is it that we're needing in this moment in time? Like, how can I learn from you, and how can I also take care of you? What is it that you need? Oftentimes our inner child is in need of boundaries or discipline, and discipline in the sense of like knowing what's right and wrong for us and sticking with that, okay? Almost being like a better parent to ourselves at times, and maybe doing that deep dive so that we know when maybe what's actually happening is that the inner child could be very much frightened and the adult is acting out because of that. So that could show up in a number of ways, and that could be very much in a pleasure seeking or escapism, things like that, that as adults we do these things because somewhere we don't feel incredibly safe in our being, or we don't feel incredibly trusting in our process in this moment in time. So there does need to be some inner child work. Inner child needs get to be addressed. That's what's coming up in that sense. And then I did want to pull for each group of signs in terms of the elements. And so I started with earth signs because I'm a Capricorn, and we're just starting with earth signs. So your Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. Generally, we all have these components somewhere in our chart, or at some point have experienced these type of archetypes throughout our journey here. So they're all applicable, but this is for earth elements. We have the Two of Cups. So this is divine partnership. I love this Two of Cups card. It's peaceful, it's romantic, it's like a creative force, right? And so it's almost like the passion between the two is a powerful creative force. And that's what I think of with Two of Cups too, because this could be in regards to business, this could be in regards to friendship, this could be the, hey, let's get together and start a business, let's get together and start a band, or even just tuning in deeper to your higher self and knowing like, what is it that you're amazing at? What is it that comes naturally to you? What is it that lights you up that you want to further explore? And this could certainly be in a romantic setting as well. And that's beautiful to have that type of love between two people. It is the type that ignites. As opposed to the type that implodes or explodes, it ignites. It's the catalyst for the relationship. Your catalyst for each other. You almost start each other's engines to do what it is that you're meant to do here. So that's beautiful. Love it. Tune into that. See how you feel about that, earth signs. I'm like, I love that. Then I have my, let's see, air signs. You got the Queen of Wands. So our air signs are going to be Aquarius and Libra and Gemini. Queen of Wands energy is, she's fire. Even though this is for our air signs, like she is, all eyes are on her. She's highly intuitive. She's magnetic. She's charming. She's charismatic. She's at the top of her game. And with it being a queen card, this is more about like a knowing that that's what's going on. And it's almost like this energy really supports your thought processes at this time, air signs. So like allow your inner magnetism to pull in that which you've been manifesting or working on, and like definitely work with your own magic. There's something here to that given this card. Pay attention to your dreams because this is a highly intuitive card. Just know all eyes are on you and to work with that, right? Because we're all fabulous alchemists once we really hone in on our craft. So even eyes that are envious become an opportunity for us to transmute that type of energy and use it as fuel to continue doing what it is that we're meant to do here. So this also speaks to like sacral energy, given the colors of this card. So fire it up, get done what it is you're ready to get done. Air signs, you're in a good energy also, similar to earth signs, for like creative projects, what it is that you really want to do. So it doesn't feel like a particularly like holiday read or one that's heavily focused on family. It feels pretty focused on our inner passions, which is pretty cool, I think. Once we move into fire signs, you guys are showing up as the Knight of Cups. So this kind of is in alignment with this energy of love and passion and creativity, and romance too. And given that it's a Knight card, some of you may be feeling like impulsive to move forward, especially in regards to expressing this creativity and this romance and this, like, I'm hearing like joie de vivre, like your love of life, like you're wanting to move forward and be seen and experience that and share that. And I think that's really beautiful for fire signs. Just be aware that in tarot, the Knight of Cups doesn't always make it to the finish line, because sometimes that desire can be there to do these things, but the discipline and the required action steps to do it have to be there to back it up as well. So whatever it is that you're getting excited about, make sure that you have a plan to like work on how you're going to actually begin to take steps towards it. Yeah, and in this card in particular, I'm really drawn to this little letter here. Yeah, so what I feel like this is interesting, I think, is fire signs. If you've been wanting to connect with someone, you can take this as your sign to connect with them. Send them the message, send them the email, send the long lost relative the letter, whatever it is. Your communication could really light them up. So share your enthusiasm, share your spark, and just be aware of like having a plan in place for following through. Water signs, you all are showing up as the Seven of Cups. So again, we have mostly cups and wands for the elements. So this is all about passion and love and emotion. But for our water signs, that's going to be our Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces. You have a lot of choices to make, a lot of paths ahead of you. So this makes sense given that like we have this Knight of Pentacles as our collective heart space. It's like, you know, you're going somewhere, you're just not exactly sure where to put all of this energy into. And this could be because here we are wrapping up the end of the year and it's almost like, I know I want to start fresh. I'm just not really sure which direction I want to start in or where to even begin or where to put my focus into, but you do have a lot of options on the table. And so with water signs, like there's this innately intuitive ability, right? And so you're just being asked to tune in, quiet things out. Definitely I'm getting very strongly to tune out external noise. So this decision that you're about to make, whatever path it is that you're curious about taking, it's not really for another person's opinion to weigh in on. And it may get a little muddied if you're asking too many people for advice. Do you know what I mean? You may have your core people that you go to, and that's a beautiful thing. Yet it's already feeling a little confusing. So if you keep getting different answers and different takes, it may make it harder for you to hear your own voice. So whatever it is that you're thinking about, really take the time to tune into yourself, get grounded and balanced, and maybe reflect on or be able to sort of cut out any choices that really aren't going to serve you and others for the highest and best good. So it's almost like I'm really drawn to the red cup here. So if there's a red flag involved, maybe think about the energy that's going into that and whether or not you want to continue that cycle. But you know better than anybody else, so allow yourself to have that quiet time to truly reflect. I pulled an overall oracle card for us just to get a different type of vibe, and this is from the Work Your Light deck, and we all as a collective got Inner Temple. It says devotion and tune into the portal of your heart. So I'm drawn to the fact that we have like these two figures almost mirroring each other. I feel like we are being given an opportunity to choose our own adventure, choose our own destiny. There's a lot here about just walking the path that feels most in alignment for us. And the way that we do that is by tuning in. That was what this initial mind space card was about, was sort of like, how do we quiet this external world and get back into our own heart center? Let that be our compass. And also when I think of Inner Temple, I think of how are we caring for the physical vessel? How are we caring for our mental space and our emotional and spiritual well-being? This is not the time of year to get too stressed out, too focused too much on achievement and the external, and basically running around. You know, that's been our culture for far too long. We're kind of being asked, I feel, based on this, to take the time to tune in, to have this be like a real experience where we're closing out one year, moving into the next, closing out December, moving into January, moving into a whole new energy, and working with that as a new opportunity to feel inspired. It's difficult to feel inspired. It's difficult to tune into joy and our inner child wisdom when our focus is so much on the 3D, on getting things done, on fulfilling certain roles and maintaining a certain lifestyle, particularly, you know, in regards to, I'm just thinking of like the holiday season and how we really can easily get swept up in some of the programming around that. So just be aware what feels real, what feels false, and learn to trust your inner compass on that. So if that means doing things a little differently, that's okay. Absolutely. So that's the reading overall. My last card as like a goodbye card for December is the Third Eye Portal. So I had this feeling we were going through a third eye upgrade, and this is sort of clarification. So if you're experiencing like pressure in your forehead, or even like in your nasal area, or any eye discomforts that isn't medically connected, it can certainly indicate some shifts in the third eye. The third eye also helps us to see through bullshit. It helps us to see through that programming that I just mentioned, and helps us to acknowledge like, there's a different way of looking at things. Like, I can view this now from a totally different perspective than I did before, and there's so much growth and beauty in that. So allowing our third eyes to continue to expand and that activation to continue to happen will help us to be able to see what it is that we need to see in this moment in time. Help us to visualize the path ahead, what it is that lights us up, those that we're meant to truly connect with. as well as tuning into that own heart center. So that heart chakra is always at work, right? But when we connect that with our third eye, the alignment between these two really allows for us to take powerful steps forward. So wishing you all an awesome December. The rest of the month, may it be filled with love and pure unconditional love. May our inner children feel nourished, and may they feel safe to speak and be seen and heard. And may we experience the passion, creativity, and joy that lights us up. Have a good one.